At the pinnacle of his playing, he was playing with some of the greatest musicians in the world. And he was playing with like Slide Hampton, and standing right next to the two trumpets in there were him and Freddie Hubbard. And that was the band. Played in a group called NJT+3, which was just outstanding. All their stuff is out now, re-released. But I think once he got into education, it was a blessing in disguise in a way.
Well, there were a number of students, I think, that were influenced either directly or indirectly.
I had been studying this thing. I had asked everybody I could think of, all these educators and just anybody I can think of. It's like, what does this mean? I have no idea. I know there's something deep here, but what does it mean? And then Willie sends me one email, and like in one paragraph, he explains more to me about what this thing was about than like 20 years of my research. It was just incredible.
The thing that I learned probably more than anything from Willie is that jazz is a language, and that you have to learn the language of the music in order to speak it properly. And it doesn't mean that you're not improvising, but you have to learn the basic language, and then you decide how to put it together.
Just that whole, that chromaticism. That all that, I mean, that, you know, very common vocabulary I learned from Willie.
There's so many stories that I could tell about Willie, some of which would maybe be somewhat inappropriate for the venue, but let's just say that Willie loved to have a good time.
Has anyone shared the story of him falling off the stage and breaking his leg?
It would have been 1982, the fall of 1982, and Willie comes in to play with set with Valley's high school's band, and he's in a great mood. He's just walking on the stage, hasn't played a note, and at the time Valley had a stage that was like, it was kind of a rectangle, and there was a front platform. So anyway, Willie's walking on, and he actually falls off the stage, and it's this big drop, you know, and we couldn't believe it. We're sitting there just like, what just happened? And it would look like a cartoon almost, because his leg flew up and he just like, bam, you know? And, but he's just sitting there laughing about it. He's just like, well, he was cracking jokes. The gurney they brought in, he broke his leg pretty badly apparently. And they brought a gurney in. I remember he was laying on his back on this gurney, and he's just cracking jokes. Oh, the best I ever sounded. What's my best concert ever?
I don't remember if it was my freshman year, my sophomore year, but they told me they were going to bring in, you know, this really well-known jazz educator, and in walks Willie with his, you know, fisherman's cap. Those who know Willie, he's famous for his fisherman's cap. I never saw him without it. I've never seen Willie without his cap. And that was my first introduction to Willie. And unfortunately, in high school, I thought wearing a fishing cap was cool at that point, so I decided to wear one all the time. You know, little did I know it wasn't cool, but
Days of being a band director at Valley High School were very tiring, and I'd come home sometimes at night, 10, 11 o'clock at night, and I'd be just dead. And Willie'd be there to meet me at the door, so to speak, and he'd been thinking about this latest new idea for the last 2 or 3 hours. So if there had been a movie camera running there, you would see Willie coming after me. I'd be propped up against a wall, and I'd be hearing all of this information about all this great new stuff that was going to make jazz the best thing in the world. So he did that to me more than once.
He is passionate about music. He is passionate about education. He's passionate about jazz. He's passionate about his own playing. He continues to practice every single day.
to actually have a jam sessions that's now been running for 20 years in Des Moines for kids in a, you know, in a safe environment, I think has been phenomenal. There's been so many young jazz musicians that have come up out of that. Whether they went into jazz for a living doesn't matter. There was so much character development for so many young kids. Getting up there for the first time, having my mom encourage people to go up there and improvise for the first time. And there's so many musicians I know that was such a formative time for them. So I think Willie's starting the CJC, the Community Jazz Center. I think that's his legacy.
Willie's been the biggest influence that I've had in my life, both musically in every way. He's the reason I'm a music educator. He's the reason I've already put an hour's worth of practice in today.
He just kind of put this positive charge of energy in there that it was like, let's come together with this stuff. I'm so passionate about this music, he would say. Let's come together and work together and have fun with it together, you know?
So Willie, thank you for starting CJC. Thank you for starting, creating a legacy in Des Moines. I don't think you probably even have a real understanding how significant it's been for so many musicians in Des Moines. And congratulations on being inducted. You thoroughly deserve it.